All right, it's getting to be a warm one today, but we're making progress. So we have the motor back together. Got the new shift shaft in there. Here we go, the old shift shaft all rounded out. So I took the opportunity to swap in the shift shaft from the original motor. So now we have good bite there, and we got a fair amount of cleaning up to do still on here. But the motor is back together. What I'm thinking now is I just slipped the rear end back on 2 tires so that I can wheel this out and pressure wash it. It's just so much just caked stuff in here, and I want to get this just clean so I can perhaps do some cardboard and rattle can to clean it up. So I am going to roll this out and grab the pressure washer and wash it clean, because I've got the carb on there, so I'll tape that off. I've got the air filter on there, a few other things I don't really want to hit with a lot of water, but I do want to just get all this grease just off of here. And we've been getting pieces painted, so a lot of this will take another coat. But we got the engine enamel on the pipe, redone the foot peg, heat shield, 4-wheel drive shield, pegs. I gotta roll over now, do the other side. I'm not sure what this chunk was cut out for. Motor mounts. I may not use these. Well, I don't think they were destined to fit on this big bear. Just somebody just mashed the existing pedals and made them work. I might pull these off and put them on my 225. I can just bend both of these back and I get nice nerfs. Those just are pretty beat up. I mean, they'd work, I don't like them. So let me wheel this thing out and clean it up some more, and then we'll find our next step here. But we're getting closer. This thing's got to dry. But we've now got a clean air box, clean. All the caked on mud from every side cleaned out. We're going to get down in here, clean this out. I don't know if we have a snap bolt or a missing bolt under there. I did notice underneath one of these tabs, I notice we're going to have to extract this guy here to be able to do diff change. Got a snapped off bolt in there. Clean all that out. So that makes one heck of a mess. But you really get a chance to see what the frame looks like underneath. And I'll make a decision if I'm going to do touch-up paint on here or not. There's one of the bolts holding the foot pegs on. It's a 10mm bolt, 1 1/4 pitch. We're going to see if we can clean these up and rethread them. Not perfect, but usable. All right, as I'm starting to put all this back together, this cylinder had this chain tensioner in here and was working. My other cylinder, which is the knockoff cylinder that we were running before, when we had all that ticking and knocking, and I thought, boy, you know, I looked at this and it was all the way in and thought we need to do a new timing chain. I slipped this one in. I don't want to beat my gasket up. I hate these paper gaskets. Look at that. It doesn't even touch the chain. This one does. So I'm not sure. I mean, oh, look at that. And this one's busted too. Oh, geez. It's working, but busted. But you see we have 2 different chain tensioners here. And there's different length on here. All right, so here's the scoop here. Here's my thought, is I'm hoping I'm going to be able to put the motor in. Whew. I'm hoping I'm going to be able to put the motor in from the side and just mesh up with the worm gear here. I do have the bearing to press on. And in that way I can do this with the rear axle on. To get the splines to line up here, a bit of a pain because I got to roll the machine back and forth because there's the 4-wheel drive engaged. Unless I were to take this shield off and there's a way to slip this out. But what I'm using is a screwdriver in here to align the splines, and the idea is I'm going to roll back and forth till I get everything to line up. Then I can slip this in. I do have the right replacement boot here. I just don't know if this is actually going to work because I've got to get the motor in, tip it around, get it into the mounts. So if this works, it's kind of handy because you could take a motor out theoretically without dropping the rear end, the axle. But I could be wrong on this whole thing. So I'm going to work this for a little while, see if this works out. Biggest pain is going to be to get these gears, the splines to line up in here. That's something that's actually pretty tough to do, to get it to look even, to control overspray, and just not have just drastic lines where you stopped painting. That just looks crazy anyway. But I did it. I just did everything I could to clean up this frame with a rattle can and cardboard. Just hit the rust spots, blend it in. So that is satin. That's a satin enamel, Rust-Oleum. And in my experience, that's been the stuff that closest matches the factory. So you see, I didn't touch the swing arm, but I went around the frame here just doing light spritzes because I don't want to get it all over my transfer case. That'll look like crap. I don't want to paint all the nuts and bolts. That'll look like crap. So it's a little tough, but we're getting rid of some of the rust here. I mean, really, the appropriate way to do this is a full strip down, everything off, hang it, sand it, prime it. I just want to touch up everywhere that I've smoothed out the rust on here. Ooh, tough to do it like this. Tough to do it. I also want to call out, I did get the right boot. And there's the model number for the right boot. I want to go check in here because I have a second boot that I got and it was the wrong one. Yeah, here we go. 4KB is the wrong boot. Too big. 2HR is the right boot. So it's almost the same part number, but if you're getting one for one of these, that's the one. Okay, so having done that, that's gonna slow me down. I was looking to hang the motor today, but that's gotta set up. It's a hot, humid day, so that's gotta set up for a while. Walk you through what we've done here. Motor is together, ready to go in. My hope is that I can lift this motor, slide it in sideways, and mesh with that worm gear. If not, I've gotta rehang the rear end, drop the swing arm, all of that, which I really don't want to do. I just really would like to get it in this way. Some of these, same paint, except for this guy is the engine enamel. This is a heat shield. Motor mounts I hit, foot pegs, brake I hit, shield for the four-wheel drive. I also just hit the forward shield for the four-wheel drive and my fuel cooler stay. I am gonna have some work to do on the rear end in here. When I take this wheel off, 2 out of 3 of the mounting screws here are snaps. This is gonna have to come off. We're probably gonna have to combine brake components from our spare over here. This whole outside piece is missing. Now, interestingly, I might give some thought to this because when this piece is on, it holds mud and junk inside. And with this side off, and you have that rotor exposed, there's more opportunity for everything to kind of fall out. I'm gonna have to think about that. If I need them though, I do have all these Yamaha rubber nut covers. Nice to have. And this one's still going to get stripped down. And as I get closer, I am curious to understand what the heck this skid plate was, and is there any value in trying to salvage it for anything? I don't know. A lot of good parts.